Here we are, we've come to our end of our journey with Jesus. We hope that you have been able to celebrate the resurrection, the power of the Holy Spirit working in Jesus, and how amazing that is. And so we might come to a day like today, a Monday, after all the pomp and circumstance and celebration of Easter, and we might be tempted to go back to our normal lives. We wouldn't be the only ones. Jesus' disciples actually did that. In John chapter 21, Peter and the other fishermen go back to the lake where Jesus first called them. And what do? They begin to fish again. And Jesus comes to them at the lake. He calls them, he makes breakfast with them. And then he has this conversation with Peter that I think is so instructive for you and for me. In John chapter 21, John tells us, when they had finished eating, Jesus said to Simon Peter, "Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these?" "Yes, Lord," he said, "you know that I love you." Jesus said, "Feed my lambs." Again, Jesus said, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" He answered, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." Jesus said, "Take care of my sheep." The third time he said to him, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" Peter was hurt because Jesus asked him the third time, "Do you love me?" He said, "Lord, you know all things." He appeals right to who he knows the identity of Jesus to be. He says, "You know all things. You know that I love you." Jesus said, "Feed my sheep. Very truly, I tell you, when you were younger, you dressed yourself and went where you wanted. But when you are old, you will stretch out your hands, and someone else will dress you and lead you where you do not want to go." Jesus said this to indicate the kind of death by which Peter would glorify God. Then he said to him, "Follow me." Those same words he said when he first called Peter, "Follow me." And so maybe you find yourself today in that same place as those disciples. You are tempted to go back to life as normal. You're tempted after the celebration of the resurrection at Easter to go back to just working your job or just going to school. Jesus says to you, as he said to Peter, "Take care of my sheep, feed my lambs." There is a world which is far from the love of Jesus, and he calls you and me to help bring them to Jesus, to help know the love that he has for them. And so he calls us, just like he did Peter, to go and take care of those sheep, to go find the ones that are far from him and bring them in close. And so we might think that today is simply just another day, but Jesus says, no, today is not just some other ordinary day. Today is an opportunity. Today is an opportunity for someone to come to know the love that powered the resurrection. And Jesus says to you and me, follow me. Not through the life that Jesus lived on earth, but follow him in the glory of the resurrection. And so as we finish our week journeying with Jesus, we ask ourselves, are we prepared? Are we ready to follow Jesus in that way? Are we ready to follow Jesus in the way that we go and we feed the sheep? That we don't just go back to life as normal, that something changes in our hearts. That we allow the Holy Spirit in to make a move in our hearts that will make a kingdom impact for someone who is far from the love of God. And so as we finish this week, as we spend our last day together worshiping, drawing close to the Lord in this holy week, I have to ask, as I journey with Jesus this week and the rest of my life, how is Jesus calling me to be a part of changing the world with his gospel? Let's spend some time worshiping and praying and considering, how is God changing me How is he calling me to change the world with the gospel?
There was a moment when the lights went out, when death had claimed its victory. The King of love had given up his life, the darkest day in history. There on a cross they made for sinners, for every curse his blood atoned. One final breath and it was finished, but not the end we could have known. For the earth began to shake, and the veil was torn. What sacrifice was made as the heavens roared? All hail King Jesus, all hail the Lord of heaven and earth, all hail King Jesus, all hail the Savior of the world. There was a moment when the sky lit up, a flash of light breaking through, when all was lost, he crossed eternity. The King of light was on the move, for in a dark cold tomb, where our Lord was laid, one miraculous breath, and we're forever changed. All hail King Jesus, all hail the Lord of heaven and earth, all hail King Jesus, all hail the Savior of the world, all hail King Jesus, all hail the Lord of heaven and earth, all hail King Jesus, all hail the Savior of the world. And then every knee come bow before the King of Kings. Let every tongue confess that He is Lord of all. Lift up your shout, let us join with all of heaven, singing holy, singing holy. We cry out holy. Jesus.